This is We Burlesque. This is We Burlesque, the podcast. This is the music that made we, and I am Viktor, and I get to talk to nightlife individuals in the field of drag, burlesque, and cabaret about the songs that brought them to the stage, the songs they do on the stage, the songs that they listen to once they finally get off the stage. And I'm very excited to have Stella Nova on the line. Hello, hello.
Hi. It's
Hi.
so fun to be here today.
Oh, so happy to have you. I'm finishing my Boombox Burlesque collection with Stella Nova here, as you are one of the producers and the only one who has not yet done this. So what I find really fascinating is that the four of you, I Love Great, Mr. Robubrialis, Reign Supreme, and yourself, you all have such wildly different music tastes, and yet you all found hip-hop as a connective tissue. How did you find these people all together? I mean, I know we talked about it in the past, but how did you realize you all had that in common?
Yeah, I think we all have unique relationships to hip hop and like how we experienced it. I am the youngest of the group, so I come from like a different generation, and I think I'm probably most similar to Aurora in that like I come from a space of dance. So like a lot of the music that I grew up in that influenced, like, I guess, like my personality and how I exist in the world isn't necessarily hip hop, but a lot of my dance style is inspired by it. And a lot of what I learned in dance early in life is hip hop. And like, I grew up watching America's Best Dance Crew and like loving those performances and how they took like one element of hip hop performance and then turned it into this whole larger theatrical piece. So that's more my way in, I would say, more necessarily than the music itself. While I do love the music and I have a vast appreciation for it, and like my interest in like the realm of beats and the like lyricism and rhythmicality and storytelling, like all of that bolsters my love for it, but my origination of my fascination is in the realm of dance.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. That's the thing, isn't it? It's a lot. It's a culture. It's a wholly formed microcosm of existence. And what I find really interesting is that your playlist for this evening deviates in all kinds of different directions that I'm very excited to hear about. Why don't we dive right in to your first selection and you tell us why we're starting with it?
Okay, so I kind of like curated my list to go through just like different phases of life. So I wanted to start with the music that influenced me from my family. So my mom actually is the impetus for the first song because I have a lot of memories with her and like dancing in our living room. And you'll notice this is like a very like common thread throughout a lot of this music is like me doing, like, sharing these memories with people and like being tied to movement. And my mom is like the lover of like songs on the radio, and one of her favorite things to do like on a weekend and like the summer would be like to turn on the radio and have it blasting in the living room and like bring a radio outside into our little backyard in the Bronx. And just like have little dance parties just because she likes listening to pop music, and at the time that was like more in the realm of pop music, even though it is more rock. And I think you'll see like a lot of the influence in my early days comes from a lot of rock music. And I don't know, whenever I hear it, I think of her. And I actually made an act to the song related to Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which is like one of my favorite campy movies from like the 2000s and book. So like good memories all around.
And the name of the song is?
How Far We've Come by Matchbox 20.
Let's take a listen to it. This is from Exile on Mainstream. That was How Far We've Come from Matchbox 20. I love that song. I actually have an act to that song. I've not done it in a very long time, but I did it for TZ Roosevelt's show years and years ago, which both of us were a part of, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's such a funny song. It's like super poppy, but then it's just like we're gonna die. Who cares?
Yeah.
Might as well
It's
have a good
frenetic.
time.
Frenetic. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I love a
So you said
song
most
that
of
says "fuck it, let's go."
is that all there is? Then let's keep dancing. Yeah, you know. Well, and
Right.
it's also it's
Exactly.
one of I remember there being sort of like a. I mean, I remember when Matchbox 20 first came out with um, Real World and 3 a.m. and Push and all of that. And I know they sort of well, they never got quite the Nickelback treatment, but there was a time where they weren't quite, they were lesser loved at one point or another. A little too earnest,
Yeah.
just a little too. And I think part of the reason for that is Rob Thomas specifically before he moved into like really pop stuff, was really vulnerable, and vulnerable white guy music is sometimes polarizing.
Yeah, and I think it was like very much in the early days of it, like right before it went mainstream. So it like luckily he stayed on more of the pop side of it, but it still was on that spectrum of like, do we want to listen to this guy complain? Is this life really that hard? And the answer is no, but like it still
That's
makes for
the
good music.
You can, but that's the thing is that I don't know. Do you find that you are driven to the backstory of the writer of the piece, of the singer of it, and say, can you get past that, or do you feel that unless that you sense an inauthenticity and go, that's not really you, then that's like, but they're necessarily, being autobiographical.
I think I think it depends on the artist because I think
Mm,
there are times where someone's story is very instrumental to their work and to their music, and sometimes it is a little bit more superficial. For something like this, I'm thinking more of like the message of the song, the energy of the song, the music, like the instrumental of the song
yeah,
versus actually the storytelling. And I think with some of the other songs that I've picked out, it becomes a little bit more about the storytelling of the artist. Like later on, I have like Doechii on my list, and like she's definitely an autobiographical artist. Um, but yeah, there's some music you don't need to read all that much into, even if it is a little bit autobiographical. And then some music you should pay more attention to the lyrics to understand where that person is coming from, what kind of context they're pulling from as well, so that you can truly understand the larger story being told with the
right.
if it's the individual song or if it's like a larger album piece, like whatever it may be.
Well, I think that's the thing too. As we are artists who are painting pictures with somebody else's paint, essentially, like a lot of what we do
Mm-hmm.
as burlesquers and drag artists and cabaret singers, if you're also reinterpreting the material, whether it's Gershwin or it's contemporary, uh, you're taking
Mm-hmm.
on the characterization that you're bringing to it, and the intent of the original artist, while it may influence some of the decisions we make, very much secondary, sometimes tertiary.
I agree, and I think that's why I thought it was a good fit for a Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy act because it fits the energy of the song because the story, like the book and the movie, they're both so playful and like fourth wall breaking and like intentionally ridiculous that it
Yeah.
matches that energy and it matches that storytelling.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, when
But
I heard
obviously,
it,
like, the music has nothing to do with the movie. It didn't even touch
oh,
the
not
movie.
directly,
Like, it
not
has
directly.
anything to do with the author. Yeah.
But that's the fun of Nerdlesque too, is I love Nerdlesque that doesn't use just the music from the material itself, is that if you're going to take on these characters, let's have fun with it. Like, do your own soundtrack. What would you have put on there? And I really like that. When I
Mm-hmm.
first heard How Far We Come, I thought of America collapsing because America is collapsing. And this was during the first Trump
Yep.
administration. My God, that's how long ago it was. And I was like, I'm gonna go revolutionary on this, and so yeah, uh, it's a little colonial. You got to pick your battles when you do that act, but it's not necessarily an endorsement. It's not necessarily an endorsement. Uh,
No, but it's like how you like. It's like what you said earlier. It's like we're putting a story on top of the story, so it's how we're interpreting the larger piece of it in our own direction that
right,
matters more in this
right.
context.
Also, I don't think of myself as necessarily
Like
the
how are
hero
we
in that act.
right? And is Arthur a hero in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy? No, he's an agent of chaos, like just like every other one of them.
Well, we
He's
love
the
an
main character,
anti-hero.
but he's not the hero per se.
Exactly. That's the thing. We get confused a lot, and
Tumbling around.
This is a deviation, but the whole concept of like throwing a picture up from an older movie or an older TV show, and then the text being, I'm now old enough to know that this is the real villain of this movie. Like, first of all, no, that's reductive, and you're not paying attention because no, that's not what we're doing. That's the protagonist. The protagonist has to learn shit. That's why he's flawed.
Also, just because they're the main character doesn't mean they're a good guy.
No, we love an anti-hero. We love a villain redemption story. People are complicated. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go with your second track. Tell me about what. Tell me why we got this one.
Okay, I know a lot of Latinos, specifically Puerto Ricans, are going to roll their eyes at this, but I promise this is a real life experience. My second song is Suavemente by Elvis Crespo. And the reason is also because of my abuela and like we're having vivid memories of her like teaching me how to salsa and like introducing me to his catalog, to like Tito Puente and like El Gran Combo and like all of these people. But like she loved the song when it came out. Like before it even hit the radio again, like 5-7 years ago, and like was everywhere in every occasion at all times. Like before it became like the cha-cha slide, like at every family reunion, it was on, like it was played in the abuelita's household because they had their tapes and their CDs and they were putting them on while they were cleaning the house on the weekends and like sharing the culture with your family. And like the Puerto Rican Day Parade was just this past weekend here in New York, and it's such a big thing for me personally because my culture is very important to me, and being able to be in a space where your community can surround you and you all have this similar upbringing, because like we've all had this experience with their like abuelos, like we've all had this experience of going over to their house and the music is playing and everyone's sweating because God forbid they have an AC in the house. They have like one oscillating fan in the corner that's hitting nobody. So everyone is sweating, but everyone is listening to the music. And if you're lucky, they're making some like plátanos or frying some bacon so they can use the grease to make some dinner. Like there's this unifying experience that we all have. And I think what triggers it the most, especially after like our grandparents are gone, is like music or food that can bring back those memories so vividly. So I will say that the song is really close to my heart, and I'm sorry that it pisses everybody else off.
Why does it piss everybody else off?
It's because it was everywhere 5 to 7
Oh,
years
I
ago.
see. Just because it was super, yeah, okay.
Yeah, like it came back around somehow, and then it was like on. Literally, you went to a location and somehow it was playing. Like you could be going to the bodega, you could be going to a party, you could just be entering the hair salon, and it was playing. It was everywhere. And I get it.
And here it is. It's playing
but
now.
It doesn't change our relationship. I'm so sorry.
Excellent. This is Suavemente from Elvis Crespo from the album Suavemente. There we go. That was Suavemente from Elvis Crespo. Yeah, we get these particularly through predominantly white culture when we find songs like Despacito, or even going through like Como the Tito Puente song, and then Santana covered it. Da, 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 da.
Mm-hmm.
That
Yeah,
one. I
yeah.
can't think of it.
Mm-hmm.
Belson selling in my ear. I feel like we latch onto them, and I think it's really great considering how awful we are, frankly, to a lot of immigrants and Spanish speaking individuals who live in this country, because we're in a very like you're in America, speak English mentality, and like every once in a while it infiltrates, and it's like, see, folks. And then if you look back at like people who like Eartha Kitt and Sam Cooke and like we used to have multicultural language on 45s that were very big hits, and like when did we get so terrified of that? It bothers me.
It's a strange cycle that I think humanity goes through of like aggravating ourselves with the things we're already comfortable with because we want to change a pace. That's what I feel like it comes down to. Because like when you look at the larger cycle of ignorance of people being like, oh no, but they're a good one, but then they're still afraid of other people, and then some
Yeah.
whatever that thing is will become a part of society. But then all of a sudden it's the enemy again. I was like, you were okay with it when it's like it was your grandson. You were okay with it when it was just a guy down the street, but suddenly it's bad because it's
Yeah.
outside of your experience. So like it's a weird there's a weird cycle that happens. It's for example, all around the country, and this is a bit of a tangent, all around the country
I
there
love it.
were so many expanding and vibrant Black communities in like all over the country. There's one in Central Park, Seneca Village. We all know about Tulsa. Like there's all these communities where Black people were thriving, not exactly in tandem with the white communities surrounding them, but like tolerated, like fine.
In
They were
spite of.
doing well. They were becoming
Yeah.
successful. They were largely independent, but like not a problem until they became a problem. Like another spark of racism pops up, or intolerance pops up, or jealousy pops up, because sometimes it's just jealousy, and then all of a sudden it's gotta go. All of a sudden it's unacceptable again. So the very communities that were allowed to thrive in the first place are now a problem and were destroyed as a result.
It's sort of
So
it's so conditional also, like the idea that Republicans are now bopping to Nicki Minaj simply because now she's not, the
right.
I don't know, slut
She
archetype
said the
that they
magic
hated
word.
years ago.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And if Bad Bunny voted Republican, I'm sure they wouldn't have had a problem with Spanish at the Super Bowl. They would have been like, see, this is like this. I don't know. I mean, they probably still would have had a problem with Spanish at the Super Bowl. I don't know if they would have quite gone past that. But also, I say they as if there isn't like levels of people's tolerance and people's bullshit. But we all, I don't know, we all struggle with recognition of good people just doing their jobs, doing their work, staying in their lane, thriving and manifesting, and then we gotta get in their way.
Yeah, a lot of the question becomes, but why does it bother you? Someone else is succeeding. Why does that bother you?
Yeah,
it doesn't interrupt your quality of life for someone else to also have a good quality of life. It doesn't interrupt your rights for someone else to also have rights.
I don't know if it's a particularly innovative mindset that I've adjusted to, but I think I've noticed that people of color, Black people, Latino people, Asian people, and a lot of other marginalized individuals in this country are very excited when other folks who look like them win and succeed and get things, even if they were also up for it. And there's the scarcity mindset within a lot of white folks and a lot of folks who unfortunately subscribe to a lot of white supremacy, even if they're not white, of that taking away from when so many other cultures are built on your your liberation is tied to mine, your success is tied to mine, when you win we all win, like that kind of sort of mindset. And when that's viewed in a negative light, I find that such a bonkers situation. I can't quite grasp it. um I know a lot of it's tied to
One thing
capitalism
that,
and shit, but
yeah, oh, for sure. And I think part of it is, and I was thinking about this the other day, actually. It's funny that it's coming back around. Um, Something that you notice is that a lot of minority cultures are community based. And I think that as a result, we like to root for each other. We like to see one person succeed that looks like us or is also like of a minority descent succeed, because it means that there's possibility and there's hope, kind of. The other side of it is like that scarcity mindset also comes from like an isolationist or individualist kind of mindset. And I think it's hard to reconcile the difference between watching, like, wanting to succeed yourself, which is like that larger individualistic narrative that honestly gets sold to you with capitalism, because it like institutes a lot of competition and also like makes missing out feel like a real detriment or a real like elimination of hope. But I think we're stronger in a community mindset.
right.
I think it's ultimately better, and to like dismantle the need to definitely be better or to trample someone else or be like win at the expense of someone else. It's better to like just be happy for people. I know that sounds hella generic, especially coming from a place where the Knicks just won, and I'm very fucking happy about that. Fuck the Spurs. But
The opinions of
one of
Stella
those
Nova do not
things
share
where
and
like,
reflect those of We Burlesque podcast.
boo, Knicks in 5. But I think just like from a cultural perspective, I feel like I'm not white. I can't speak for white people, but I think that a lot of that mindset does come from that space. And I know that minority cultures are built on community and like sticking together, and that's why you see in a lot of spaces where like you walk into a room and then you'll see like a lot of people of similar cultures like grouped together, and this kind of like a survival mindset of like be with the people that you can most relate to, but also look for others that can understand you.
Right.
Whereas on the other side of it, it's like stay away from what's different. So it's a different mindset going on, and I don't know if I'm explaining it correctly.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think it can be related to queer communities. It can be related to any number of other marginalized folks. You will go to people who you see as safe based on cues.
And here's them on.
If that cue is also skin tone or a pin or some sort of symbol or some indication or body type that you're like, you know what, I have a feeling that I'll just stick on this side of things. It's also it's a herd protection as well. It's that if anyone does fuck with me, then at least I'm with these other folks who might have my back by default. So yeah. What's it like being a New Yorker right now?
I mean, it feels pretty good. June is a very interesting month for me, particularly because first it's like I said, it's the Puerto Rican Day Parade and the festival. Then it's Juneteenth. Then it's Pride. So it's like already we're up on three sides of my identity. And then on top of that, the Knicks just won. So my New Yorker is up too. I just need a woman's holiday and then I'll be hitting that full 5 fingers here. We'll be hitting all parts of that intersectional identity.
Let's look at track number 3. Now, this was more of a band edition, but we're going to pick one song to represent them. So tell me about your relationship with this next band.
Yes, spinning back towards music. So my next selection comes from the Beatles. And for this, I pivoted to my dad, who is a much more reserved man from Harlem. Grew up around like everything here, but was very much into rock. Like he was the, I don't want to call him alternative because my father is not an alternative man, but compared to black culture in Harlem at the time, quite. So like especially because he came up in like the 70s and the 80s and like, or the 60s, the 70s and the 80s, where hip hop was started. And he was very much into rock and the Beatles. And I put this on my list because like a very fond memory that I have with him growing up is that I think, I don't know if it's every day or if it was like once a week, but he would turn on the radio at like noon for the Beatles Power Hour that would be on the radio. And then while we would be driving in the car somewhere, and they would just like spend the entire hour going through different Beatles songs, and I'd be singing along in the car with him because it was something that he was truly passionate about and something that we could share together.
I love it.
So he was a fan of the sillier songs, but all of them had an impact.
Yeah, they also, considering the music in the 60s was so heavily inspired by a lot of soul music and a lot of what we would now consider R&B, and proto-funk and things like that. I mean, it makes perfect sense that would still also land itself. There is a through line of, I mean, the song that I think we're going with, are we going with Oh Darling?
Yeah.
That is sung with a great deal of force and passion that's not unlike your Sam Cooke or your Al Green or something like that. So I think it's perfectly contemporary. So, all right, this is from Abbey Road.
And something.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I can pick up after. Okay, I can pick up afterwards. It's all good.
This is Abbey Road's Oh Darling from the Beatles. That was the Oh Great Oh Darling from the Beatles. So yes, you were saying.
Yeah, the one thing that the Beatles do really well is that they're such incredible musicians, / were incredible musicians. Their ability to like learn to play different instruments, their willingness to experiment with different styles, the emotion that they put into some of their more serious lyrics, their ability to stir a crowd, you know, like I think a lot of that had an impact on me personally, just because when I listen to music, the first thing I do is listen to the backbeat. Like I'm always listening to the music itself first, and then I'll pay attention to everything else afterwards. And I think that in part comes from a dancer's instinct, but also I just find music so fascinating. And when people get experimental with something and it still works, like you can say the same of like Queen, for example,
sure,
where they play with the music so much and somehow it still works. And it's fascinating to go on that journey with them and listen to how the sounds play into each other and still function cohesively.
Yeah, if you listen to Jethro Tull or Derek and the Dominoes or Led Zeppelin, it's like sometimes it's like 5 different songs in one, depending on where you find it.
Yeah.
And it's such a different world now, because a lot of the songs that are hitting the radio right now are under 3 minutes again, which is such like an old school concept. That's that's before the 45. Like the idea of like these like really quick side A, side Bs is like, I don't know. maybe it's also the performer in me that I'm like, I need at least 4 minutes. I need to settle.
Yeah.
I need to settle
But guys,
in.
I need to tell the full story in one
Just
song.
I don't want to necessarily have to do a medley every time, but I do love me a 12-inch mix. I do love me a disco mix. I do love me, and that's why I look at some artists. We have our Lorena is a great example. Queen Kwan's a great example. Um, uh, Geez, Louise is a great example. I'm all talking about Black people,
Yeah.
where they will take up the space with a 7-minute song if they so choose, and that's a really fulfilling watch. I enjoy that. I enjoy it.
Yeah. I always think it's impressive when someone can hold someone's attention for that long, because that alone is a skill. That's a specific skill.
Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of that, I guess, as a dancer is also knowing when not to move too, isn't it? Because then you're working with stillness, you're working with levels. If you start at 11 when the song starts, you're going to pass out.
Yeah. I don't know if you're going to make it to the end of the song, especially if it's more than 4 minutes. One of my friends, Lady Mavuhai, she has an act, her like Stinky Kitty act that she's done for New York Burlesque Festival before. She has an act where she's at 11 pretty much the entire time, and I'm like, girl, I don't know how you do it. You must be wheezing backstage afterwards because she's constantly in motion.
Yeah,
and like
a lot of conditioning, She talked about that on the pod. It's a lot of pasty movement.
Yeah. They're all over her body, and she's like, gotta keep them all in motion, or else it doesn't work.
It doesn't count. So far, we've had a very diverse set list, and we've only done 3 songs. We're going to diversify even further with our 4th song. Tell me about it.
Okay, so this is actually, it's partly academic and partly very silly why this next song is on my list. So I put Gasolina by Daddy Yankee for 2 reasons. The first one is a memory because this song came out when I was in elementary school, and I have the very distinct memory of being at my 5th grade prom in our schoolyard and then putting on this song and dancing so hard with my friends, but on the other side of the group because all of our parents are standing outside the gate waiting to pick us up. But I was like, no, my parents are not going to see me dance like this. I'm 11 years old, but I'm going to go in on this reggaeton. Silly, I know, but you put a Bronx girl in a yard with Daddy Yankee, and this is what's gonna happen.
I'm still reeling that you were in 5th grade in 2004. I'm still getting through it. I'm still getting through it.
It was a time. Listen,
yeah,
the early 2000s were a time. And I understand that I am when I started burlesque, I was like one of the youngest in the industry at the time in New York, because I started back in 2017 here, and I was 22. So I came in understanding that I'm of a different generation than most of the people here. So I just have I understand that I have a different experience, and I don't mean for anyone to feel dated by
no.
I'm saying, but
no. I tease. I've made peace a long ago that I accidentally became a queer elder at 42, just by virtue of living as long as I have. I didn't have to do anything other than just be here first. So, we have legends in their 90s who are still around doing the thing. So burlesque, we accept. We accept as long as the maturity is intact, and you can have that at a young age.
Yeah.
This is from
thank you.
This is from Barrio Fino. This is Gasolina, Daddy Yankee. Not the first time that song has made it on somebody's list here. So yes, that has been a formative.
That song will give people hype.
Yes.
It
A
will give
good,
people hype every single
good
time.
pre-show track. It will get them going.
Mm-hmm.
As
Yeah,
a,
and like
yeah.
on the I was just gonna say like on the more like semi-academic side of it too, like Gasolina was one of the first reggaeton songs to get into the mainstream and like make reggaeton an acceptable field of music in the mainland US. Like it was one of the first crossover tracks of this generation and paved the way for a lot of Spanish speaking artists. Like Bad Bunny would not exist without Daddy Yankee. A lot of artists would not exist in their scope without Daddy Yankee. And the fact that he retired recently and like became a pastor, crazy to me. Crazy. But like he was like one of the ain't that the truth. But like he was one of the legends that really set the stage for a lot of artists and like is one of the top performing like rap artists in existence in my opinion because and I've had this conversation I recently with some people like reggaeton is not what you expect when you think of rap music, but a lot of reggaeton is rap music, and that's why it was one of the things that I campaigned for in this last round of Boombox was introducing that as one of the categories that we accept because a lot of reggaeton is just rapping in Spanish. The main differential is the music style because reggaeton is a specific beat style, but the music is rap. A lot of it is just rap.
Yeah, and rapid fire too. Like it's very quick. It's very confidence as well. There's a certain swagger and a certain I don't know, thing with my shoulders that I'm doing. There's a lot of that. As someone who we talked a little bit about, actually, probably talked at length about this, but I want to ask again. In the Boombox Burlesque episode that we had with all of you in anticipation of, I guess, the second edition. Now that you've done 2 of these, or 2.5, right? Because you also had you had the 3. What do you think?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess first year was the one day, and then we had 2 full festivals.
Right. Having done something like this, I mean, adjudication alone, that still counts as part of the deal. How do you feel your opinion on hip hop rap music, however the variances apply? Do you think you have a different perspective on now than you did necessarily even 3 years ago? Has your opinion on the music genre evolved, changed?
That's a very good question. I
do surprise
myself. I don't think my opinion necessarily has changed, but I think I have broadened our scope a little bit before. So like I was saying about the reggaeton being considered part of the scope of rap music and like pushing forward performances that lean into a little bit more of the storytelling piece of hip hop and rap specifically, since we're focusing on rap music specifically. Like I still lean more towards those kinds of pieces and towards that kind of music or things that are that play with the musical portion of it. So going back to I listen to the backbeats first, and I think with hip hop specifically, I'll listen to the beat before I'll even pay attention to the words. That's why sometimes I'll hear a song and then someone will be like, he said this. I was like, I didn't catch it.
I haven't gotten there yet.
I'm too busy listening. Like, going throwing my ass back to the beat. Give me 2 more listens and I'll get to it. But like I think my appreciation for the genre has grown a lot more, which is want to happen when you're like listening to it a lot more and then seeing how people interpret the music along with it. You get a greater appreciation because you get a greater literacy on some of the songs as well. And also greater exposure, because I think there have been some instances where people have pulled out some like lesser known hits by like very famous artists, and I'm like, oh, I forgot about this one, or like pulling it out from like the way back of my mind, or like pulling out like an underground artist like Aurora want to do, being like, oh, did you know about this one? Like, I'll never forget the time where I was performing with Brass, Brown Radical Ass Burlesque, years ago, and they brought in the underground rapper Medusa, who was like a New York based rap performer from like the 90s and early 2000s that I had never even heard about. And this is pre-Boombox, but like shows that there's just so much more out there than you know of. And I always think that it's great to keep yourself open to new genres, new music, new inspiration, and just give everything a chance. But like, she was fantastic, and like performing on the same stage with her was such an honor, and just learning the history behind her. And I want to continue to do that, to get more exposure and see how more people interpret the music in their own way, so that I can even get a greater appreciation and learn more about it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Excellent. Well, when I think of hip-hop music, our next artist immediately comes to mind. I'm kidding, of course. But please tell me. Please tell me where this fits.
Well, hard left from Gasoline.
But a great one. I love the song.
So my next song, also pulling from my childhood, is Why Should I Worry by Billy Joel.
Yes.
And
from Oliver and Company. Come on.
Yes. Literally that was one of my, okay, so while I am not a Disney adult and will rebuke anyone who claims to be a Disney adult, I think it's kind of gross.
Okay.
But I am very much a Disney kid, and I grew up like having all the VHSs, and Oliver and Company was one of my favorite movies, with one of the best soundtracks of any Disney movie, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. Like, Billy Joel threw his whole back, foot, elbow, etc. into the soundtrack, and you got Ruth
Pointer, you got Bette Midler. It's Los Lobos. It's great songs on it.
Yeah. Like, if you wanted like a crash course on like early pop and rock, just watch that movie, because it's so interesting. It doesn't feel like a Disney movie in that it's not about magic and princesses. It's about family. It's about found family. It's about understanding your worth. It's about humbling yourself. It's like, I don't know. Whenever you see pets running around New York and coming from humble backgrounds, you gotta root for them. I do love that movie so much, though.
I do think of it. It reminds me that, and All Dogs Go to Heaven. Obviously, very similar mindset. But I think that's part of the thing, is that because again, it's not magic, it's not supernatural. It is very based relatively in reality. Because even the animals are not anthropomorphic; they're just animals. They're not
they're just
people. But they talk, sure, but they talk amongst themselves. And people can't understand them, which is also an important distinction. So, and they cohabitate with human beings. It does read a little bit more like Don Bluth, or a little bit more like that era, like Secret of Nim, Rockadoodle. Yeah, it does more than Disney. And it's unfortunately a bit of a lost piece, because it doesn't come up a whole lot. I think the first time I ever saw it was because of the Disney Channel. It wasn't even out on video cassette when I was growing up. So I don't even know if it's on DVD. But this is...
I honestly don't know. But we have the VHS, so...
Yes, exactly.
That shit was all we keep in my household.
This is Billy Joel as Dodger in Why Should I Worry? Another love letter to New York.
Yeah, that was another bit of it. Like, I'm such a New Yorker. I'm going to die here. I already know that about myself. And, like, you can keep Empire State of Mind. I'm going to be walking down the street singing this. It's got all the confidence and swagger that a New Yorker needs.
Ah, beautiful.
The music that made We is produced by Viktor Devon. The Burlesque Podcast Network is the creation of me, Viktor Devon. Podcast artwork is by Logan LaFleur. We Burlesque and podcast cover art photography is by Atticus Stevenson. The theme song, On a 45, is by This Way to the Egress and is used with permission. Incidental music is via Pixabay under the Fair Use Doctrine. Visit WeBurlesquePodcast.com for notes on this and every episode. You can follow We Burlesque and Viktor Devon on just about every platform. Spell out @ symbol before it and remove all the spaces. You can also support the podcast via patreon.com/WeBurlesque or via Venmo by searching VIKTORBEVONNE. Don't got the cash? Who does? Please follow, subscribe, and get 5 stars on every platform you can get your hands on. It really does help. All original material is owned by Viktor Devon and by Ellison Burlesque Corporation. All of the materials are property of their respective copyright. No infringement, while likely, is intended. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair uses are used permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Non-profit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. All rights and credit go directly to the rightful owners. No copyright is infringement intended. Please don't sue me.